Hi everyone, welcome back to Pretty Well. I'm Dr. Angela.
I'm Dr. Patty.
In this video, we are going to talk about heavy bleeding. So heavy bleeding during our periods. Trying to figure out,
Not just when you cut your hand in the kitchen.
This is true. The flow, very heavy flow. And so what does it even mean to have heavy bleeding? Well, typically this means you're, going through a tampon or a pad every hour to two, just, very non-stop kind of thing. And as always, we want to try to figure out what the underlying reason is to stop it from continuing. There definitely are some tricks that can make it so that symptoms are much less, and we want to tell you those too because we don't want anybody suffering out there, but it's really important with any health issue to make sure that we're working on the underlying cause. So the two biggies in terms of why women tend to have really heavy periods, and so this can be a lot of bleeding, it can be a long period, it can be really clotty periods. Hypothyroidism, again, this has been coming up a lot, but hypothyroidism is a very common reason for very heavy periods, very long, big flow, and also low iron, and so ferritin as well on blood tests looking for ferritin levels. So easy things from kind of supplement standpoint. Vitamin A works very well. You have to use high dose, so something along the lines of 50,000 units for 2 to 4 weeks to really replete. And so the issue here is if a woman is hypothyroid, the beta carotene or the different carotenes she's getting out of yellow and orange fruits and vegetables do not convert to vitamin A very effectively. And so vitamin A from a food standpoint, we'd be getting it from like liver. Mm-hmm. So if you're not eating organ meats and you've been eating mostly yellow and orange veggies, but you're not converting very well, you're not going to have a lot of vitamin A.
And this is in addition to actually addressing and treating,
of course,
the hypothyroid that's actually going on.
Yes, but just in the meantime, kind of like a stopgap. Mm-hmm. Some clues that we're deficient in vitamin A: some women have little red bumps on the back of their arms or the back of their legs. Sometimes night vision is a little tricky. Those are some signs, some symptoms we might be having that let us know that we're deficient in vitamin A. Repleting with iron, sometimes if we're kind of on the lower end of the spectrum. So when you look at blood tests, ferritin, it's like 5 to 180 is the spectrum, which is a ridiculous spectrum. So
ferritin is your iron stores.
Yes.
So not all doctors test this number.
Most don't actually.
Yeah, and so they might be looking just to see if you have what's called overt anemia, mm-hmm. but all your stores have to be low for mm-hmm. you to have actual anemia. So it's really helpful to check what's called ferritin, and so it looks at your iron storage.
Exactly. And so, just making sure to do a good job of really repleting iron if you're kind of on the lower spectrum or, frankly, deficient or anemic.
And we like the number to be closer to 50, at least, to 60, maybe even 70. Mm-hmm. So make sure to get those values checked.
Absolutely. And then the other one that I hear almost no one talking about is flavonoids. And so flavonoids are in the vitamin C family. So again, a lot of produce, including greens, can give us a lot of these flavonoids. But another clue is if you're one of those people where you gently bump into something and you bruise really easily, that might be a sign that your vitamin C and your flavonoids are off. And so it's the same thing inside of your uterus, that when you're shedding the lining of your uterus during your flow, that some ripping is happening, that some capillary ripping is happening because you don't have enough flavonoids to keep the integrity of the capillaries intact. And so then it's just like the faucet has turned on and it's miserable. So just, repleting with flavonoid supplements while you're also really doing a great job of getting more veggies and fruits in that are going to help you replete your stores.
And speaking of the faucet, if you're low in iron, mm-hmm. right, your body has a hard time turning off the faucet.
Exactly. You don't have the energy to do it.
You can't clamp down.
Exactly. It's a kind of an ironic cycle mm-hmm. that happens, but it's definitely one of the things we see.
Mm-hmm. So in addition to that, there is something called oil of cinnamon and erigeron.
I had forgotten about this one completely. So
it's actually used by midwives mm-hmm. to help with women after labor if they're hemorrhaging. So this is more of a Band-Aid. It's not treating the cause, but sometimes we need a little bit of a Band-Aid.
In the moment when we're bleeding out, we need Band-Aids.
While you work on the deeper causes and treat the underlying issues. So oil of cinnamon and erigeron together, or erigeron homeopathic also can be helpful. And these are a little bit more of an uncommon remedy and mm-hmm. uncommon homeopathic, so you may need to go go through your naturopathic doctor in order to get yourself the Origeron. And it's a little weird of a word, so we'll be sure to spell it out and put it in the description box below. And then in addition to that, really working with your gynecologist and either doing a pelvic ultrasound and a good physical exam to make sure that you don't have polyps or uterine fibroids, because that can lead to heavy bleeding as well. And Dr. Angela did an awesome video a couple videos back talking about ways to shrink fibroids. So check that out if you have fibroids or suspect that you do, or sometimes surgical intervention is necessary, but it definitely can be a cause of heavy bleeding.
Yes, we just want to make sure we're looking at all of the structural reasons we might have heavy bleeding and any of the deficiencies, that might be leading to it as the underlying cause. But of course, we also want to stop the symptoms of heavy bleeding because it can be exhausting and annoying. So
we've got enough exhausting and annoying things to deal with in our life. Our period should not be one of them.
Exactly.
So hope these little tips and kind of arrows helped you out. And thank you so much for stopping by. We love doing these videos and connecting with you. Please leave a comment, or if you have a question, we'd be happy to answer. And we will see you back here soon.
Yep. Share with a sister or a friend you think this might be helpful for, and hit that subscribe button if you want to get these regularly from us every week. Thanks, everyone.